thank you for coming this morning. I'm Deidre Martinez, the CEO of the Sheboygan County Chamber of Commerce. I'd just like to say welcome. We do this every single year, and without fail, every single year, we have a snowstorm. So now we just know to be prepared that we will have a snowstorm on Economic Outlook morning. Some would say also gala is, but isn't it like good luck if it rains, or snows on a big event day? I don't know. But either way, we're going to take it for what it's worth. So anyhow, I do want to just say a quick thank you. We've got some dignitaries in the space. I would like to say welcome and thank you to Senator Johnson's office, Congressman Grothman's office, and Representative Sheehan for being with us today and supporting Sheboygan County employers. We also have several county board and common council members. Sheboygan County Circuit Court Judge Natasha Torrey is also with us today. So if we could just say thank you to all of our dignitaries in the room. And obviously we've got several mayors and we've got lots of village presidents, but we're going to hear from them. So they're going to get their moment in the spotlight here very soon. But thank you also for being here today and presenting. Also like to say just a quick thank you to Prevea. Prevea has been the exclusive sponsor of our executive series and Economic Outlook breakfast for several years. And without the generosity and support and partnership that Prevea and HSHS St. Nicholas provide to the Chamber, we would really, it would be difficult to pull off some of the phenomenal programming that we are able to do. So without those partnerships, we certainly couldn't do it alone. So thank you to Prevea, and we've got some Prevea folks here with us. Yes, we can clap, absolutely, yes. And speaking of Prevea folks, it is my privilege to introduce Dr. Rai, who is the president and CEO of Prevea Health. He did tell me to only just say his name and move forward, but there are a couple of things that I would like to share. So Dr. Rai, as we know and love, has led Prevea Health for a significant amount of time. He became the CEO in 2009. He's overseen tremendous growth. Prevea now employs more than 2,400 team members and over 500 physicians and advanced practice providers. So it's a phenomenal resource that we have right here in our community, and for them to be so engaged in the local community tells us everything we need to know about the level of health care that they share when their patients go to meet with them. So Dr. Rai has also been a huge supporter of the Sheboygan County Chamber of Commerce and the programming that we do here. And I've already mentioned they're our exclusive sponsor of this program, but they also give a lot of their time, treasure, and talent in several other ways that make us even more successful. So thank you again, and Dr. Rai, we'd love to have you up here.
When somebody says you've been in a role for a significant amount of time, that's a euphemism that I've gotten really old over the years. So I felt that. Thank you. Well, thank you all for having us today. And, you think about Sheboygan County as probably one of the most vibrant, if not the most vibrant economic regions of our great state of Wisconsin. And that vibrancy, that collaboration, the progress that we've seen in Sheboygan County is not possible without a strong Chamber of Commerce. You look around the room today, the Chamber brings us together. As friends, as colleagues, as those that are committed to the financial success of our community and of our businesses. None of that's possible without a really strong chamber. So really appreciate Sheboygan County's Chamber's involvement and our partnership with them over the many years that I've gotten older. So it's now my honor to introduce Kristen Stearns, a dedicated leader with over 20 years of experience in nonprofit social services. Kristen was instrumental in the founding of Lakeshore Community Health Center and has served in leadership roles such as the Director of Quality Improvement for Catholic Charities and Executive Director of Sheboygan County Interfaith Organization. Kristen holds a bachelor's degree in social work from Carthage College, a master's degree in social work administration from UW-Milwaukee, also my alma mater, and is pursuing a doctorate of business administration from Concordia University. She's actively involved in the community through organizations like the Sheboygan Rotary Club, our wonderful Chamber of Commerce, and the Advocate Aurora Community Board. When she's not serving her community, Kristen enjoys time with her family, renovating her home and traveling. Please join me in welcoming the Sheboygan County Chamber of Commerce Board President, Kristen Stearns.
Hey. And that was too much. I want to know how I get not to have all that also. Clearly, I did not have right. Welcome, everybody. This is also our annual meeting. So I'd like a motion to open our annual meeting. Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Awesome. We are in our annual meeting. So we have to do some voting today and say goodbyes to some amazing board members who are leaving us. We are really excited to welcome 4 new board members, Andrew Bowman, Ryan Neville, Pat Rush, and Nikisha Gardner to the board of directors. And so I would need a motion to approve those 4 new incoming members. Thank you. Claudia, second. Paul, thank you very much. I'm like trying to see. I'm really short, so you know. All in favor? Say awesome. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Also really excited to vote in second terms. And so we have Beth Borgen and Nellie Weiss. And so again, I would need a motion to approve our second term board members. Do I hear a motion? Thanks, Paul. Second? You're all members. You can all vote. So anybody can say, please don't be shy. Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. And then I just want to say thank you to Dana Dutton, Lindsay Harrison-Irick, and Justin Sully for their service on the board over a number of years. We really appreciate you. This board is a dynamic one. We have a lot of fun. And for all of those individuals who put in applications to be board members, thank you. And every year we ask for board members, and so think about being a board member of the Chamber. We'd love to have you. We have a number of returning board members. I'm not going to go through everybody's name. We thank them. And so please give all of these wonderful folks a round of applause. And then I just need a motion to close our annual meeting.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Awesome. I'm assuming nobody opposes that.
So we are going to go ahead and get started on the Economic Outlook survey results. Annually, we survey businesses across the county, and this year we actually opened it up to non-chamber member businesses as well, which was a great opportunity for us to hear from folks who don't, currently engage with us or actively engage with us on a regular basis. So it gave us just a different perspective. As you can see, financial and insurance, nonprofit, charitable, construction, and property development rose actually to the top of the list as far as participants were concerned this year. From an employee count, you can see the mix of how large the businesses are and in what order. Mix of respondents. It's always important for us to get an idea of, especially different when we think about generations in the workforce. We want to know who we're hearing from so we can take their perspective and figure out how do we make it and how do we make what we're doing work best for all of those that we are attempting to serve. And then we had a healthy mix of employers and business owners versus employees or maybe managers for the businesses represented. So let's talk a little bit about attraction. I know that we haven't spent too much time over the past 30, 40, 50 years talking about workforce attraction and retention in Sheboygan County. But to give you all an idea, as far as workforce growth is concerned, 56.6% of our organizations expect that their workforce will grow in the next 12 months. This really did remain pretty similar to what we saw reported last year. I had the pleasure of getting the WMC survey results that dropped yesterday and incorporating them into this presentation, so bear with me. When we look at the projected growth, WMC is currently reporting also about a 56% expectation of increasing in the next, they measure it based on 6 months, where we asked over a 12-month period, so there was that slight difference. And that the number of businesses having trouble finding employees has actually dropped significantly to 63%, which is down from 68%, which was, I believe, in August of 2024, and 72% a year ago. So, not just, in Sheboygan County, we are seeing that it's kind of remaining the same, but across the state, WMC is hearing from employers that they're seeing that expectation or that need is actually lessening. So that is very interesting, because that is not something that's happened, I believe, in about a decade, but still pretty healthy growth, if you ask me. So, and maybe it also means we're doing a phenomenal job of getting more people here and filling those roles so that the need is lessened. So, good news there. Expected positions needed. This actually did shift quite a bit this year as well. So our respondents shared with us that business management, finance and IT, and construction and trades are the top 3. Generally, manufacturing lands in the top 3, but this year it actually dropped to number 5. So with construction and trades moving into that 3rd spot, and then human services coming in 4th. So we're seeing a little bit of a shift in what types of, what industry is needing. So I think that is something that we should, certainly be paying attention to as we move forward. Next, we talked about the level of education and training that is needed to fill the 2025 open positions. So in 2021, the county embarked on a whole process. And I won't go through all the bells and whistles, but there were 6 task forces. One of them was workforce development. And at that time, the task force reported that roughly 78% of our open positions in Sheboygan were entry level. When we fast forward to where we're at now, respondents are reporting that almost 60% of employers are requiring some college or training above a high school diploma. So this is certainly a shift, because we've really focused a lot on that entry level space to fill the need, but now we're seeing that need is actually looking quite different from what we've experienced over previous years. When asked what K-12 talent initiatives do your organizations actively engage in, we're happy to see that youth apprenticeships and guest speakers at schools remain in those top 2 slots. On-site career experiences or job shadows also stay right up there. And this really just goes to show the level of commitment and engagement that our employers in Sheboygan County have in our local community, because you guys, all of you, are providing these opportunities. You are getting students into your places of business. You are doing job shadows. You're going into classrooms. And that is just really a phenomenal way for us to continue to engage our local talent and hopefully keep them from going anywhere else, because we can make all of their dreams come true right here in Sheboygan County. Attraction top 3 efforts currently utilized. So employee referral programs and digital hiring, we saw that that's been really the top of the list year over year generally. Now, we did see that sign-on bonuses moved into this number 3 spot, and college internships actually fell to the number 4 spot. So that is something that's a little interesting. It seems that we're going more into the classroom in that K-12 space, but maybe less of the college internships are happening or are expected to be happening. We continue to rely heavily on referrals from our current employees, which obviously is wonderful, because if we have great employees, who better to help us find other great employees, but also really a good reminder about the importance of workplace culture, being positive, because if we're relying on our employees to feed our workforce, then we certainly want to make sure that our current employees love coming to work every day. And then how likely are you to recommend a friend or family member move to Sheboygan County? So this year was a 4.3 star rating. 86% of respondents would likely recommend a friend or family member to move here. And this has gone up 3 points over previous year, but even, I think this is my 7th or 8th Economic Outlook breakfast. But year over year, we've actually continued to see that increase. And again, when we think about, we're relying on employee referrals. So if we don't have everybody singing the praises of Sheboygan County, it's really hard for us to rely on referrals. So this number increasing and more folks in our community seeing how wonderful our community is and all of the offerings available becomes extremely important as well, because that's the message that we need them spreading, right? As far as retention is concerned, what was reported was that flexibility, professional development, and leadership programs and employee recognition programs are being widely used to retain our current employees. In 2024, increased wages has fallen to the 4th place, and in 2024 it was actually 2nd. So we're starting to see a leveling off of the increase in wages, or maybe the need for increase in wages, and looking at other opportunities to retain our talent. We also asked a question about remote workforce. So 42% of respondents reported that they are offering some sort of remote work options. This actually dropped dramatically over previous year, which was 54.7%, so over 10%. Of those offering remote work options, about 10% offer a full-time option and 12% offer 1 day per week. That 1 day per week remote option was actually 23% this time last year, and that has dropped to 12%. So again, we're continuing to see a decline in making that remote work option available to employees. Expected percentage of wage increases this year. So roughly 44% of respondents have forecasted a wage increase of 3 to 5%. This is down about 7% over previous year, but 77% have budgeted for a wage increase overall, and that is up. So what we saw is that there was more in that 1 to 2 space rather than that 3 to 5% space. So again, we're seeing that the wages are kind of leveling out, and that we are not increasing as high as we were years past. So when you think about last year, it was primarily 3 to 5% and 6 to 10% increases, and now you can see the numbers are shifting back the other direction. So who's optimistic about things happening in Sheboygan County? Anybody? Woohoo! Okay, good. So growth reported sales increase year over year. So more than 64% of our respondents reported an increase in sales over previous year. I think that's pretty phenomenal. And I think actually if our businesses are reporting a 64% sales growth, we need to probably give a round of applause, because this is great. Yes, you guys can clap. Yep. Making sure. Because, this really speaks to our growth and opportunity here in Sheboygan County. This is up over 9% over the previous year, and another 22% reported roughly no change. We only had about 14% reporting a decrease in sales, which tells us that we, not that we want that 14% not to increase in sales, but it is a small group in comparison to the rest. WMC actually just, as I shared, launched their newest survey results yesterday, and they reported that about 85% of their respondents said yes to being profitable over the last 6 months. So they asked that question a little bit differently than we do. So they're not the same, but just to kind of give you an idea that across the state of Wisconsin, 85% of businesses are reporting that they were profitable over the past 6 months. How do you believe your business will perform over the next 12 months? So about 17.5% of respondents expect significant growth in 2025, with 9%, which is a 9% increase over previous year. Overall, almost 87% expect some growth over the next. WMC also asked this question a little bit different. Do you expect your business to be profitable over the next 6 months? And roughly 96% of the businesses that responded to their survey did report that they expect to have a profitable year, or profitable first 6 months of the year, I should say. Okay, so when we look at the economy, in Sheboygan County, we wanted to just take the temperature and see how you guys were feeling about things. So more than 78% believe that Sheboygan County's economy will improve in 2025, compared to about 67% in 2024 and 60% in 2023. So as you can see, that there's a very interesting shift there over the last couple of years. More respondents believe the economy will improve this year. Significant concerns continue to include talent recruitment, impact of inflation, competition, and healthcare costs. WMC reported that only about 63% of their respondents expect the economy across the state of Wisconsin to grow. And so they just did that. They dropped that survey yesterday. It was 63% as of their results yesterday. Over the summer, their mid-year result was actually 39%. So we can see the difference in how people are feeling about the optimism in the community in a very short period of time has really increased from 39% to 63%. I'm sorry, across the state, not the county. We continue to say that we're going to be successful in our county as well, but even across the state, they're starting to see an uptick in optimism. I can't imagine why there may have been a significant shift in the past 6 months. Any guesses? WMC also reported that that about 75% of respondents expect the state or the U.S. as a whole to grow from an economic perspective over the next 6 months. And 6 months ago in August, they reported that number at 34%. So it is more than doubled in less than 6 months. Costs expected to have a significant impact on your organization's budget in 2025. Sadly, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but I will say that, number one concern that was shared with us via the survey was government mismanagement on all levels. There is a general feeling, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit businesses, that there are some pretty significant concerns about what government is or might do, and they believe that it's going to affect their budgets in 2025. Tariffs continue to be a big concern, as do taxes and, of course, health insurance, as we see that continue to rise as well. Local nonprofits also expressed a significant concern about funding and resources and being able to keep up with the demand of those in need as the need increases. So there is a general concern that what if businesses have to, cut costs, if you will, or pull back funding, that nonprofits in the community are also going to be feeling that burn, or maybe already are feeling that burn. So what professional development opportunities would you like the Chamber to offer you in 2025? So it is no surprise that every year we survey the membership, and every year our membership says we need more professional development, we need more leadership opportunities. So that continues to stay right up there in that number 2 spot. Networking and relationship building, certainly we love to do that at the Chamber. Who would we be if we weren't bringing folks together to build relationships? And then almost 41% are looking for strategic planning support. So the great news is that I will be sharing with you very shortly some wonderful things that we will make available to members beginning here in 2025, and it looks far different than anything that we've been able to do in the past. So super excited to share those details. What areas would you like to see the state of Wisconsin provide additional support? Across the board, numbers are pretty close, with education, infrastructure, and housing development being in the lead. I will say that the support the support for education actually, last year, if you look at this, these were all almost dead even with each other. And you can see that the need for additional dollars to go towards education it has increased quite a bit. Not surprising, because we just saw that, 2021, 78% of our employers were looking for entry-level workforce, and now we fast forward to today, and we are seeing that the need for education beyond a high school diploma has increased. So it's not surprising that people are thinking that maybe putting some more dollars back into education might be positive. WMC's results actually show something significantly different. So it doesn't appear that the Sheboygan County folks are maybe aligned in the same way, because they are reporting that healthcare affordability, reducing taxes, and regulation reform are in their top 3. And I believe it was only 4% of their respondents believe that more dollars should be put into education. So it's kind of interesting to see where we look the same across the state and where we look, far different across, from some of our friends across the state. Top issues, again, talent attraction and retention, although we're starting to see that ease up a bit. Professional development and countywide collaboration efforts have been, the top 3 that folks are reporting they would like to see more happening in our community, or that these are issues that are keeping them up at night. So certainly something that, as we're trying to address the talent attraction and retention and the professional development piece, I think this program just shows the level of collaboration and partnership that we have in Sheboygan County. So I'm glad that it's important to folks. I'm glad that it's top of mind. And I'm also thankful for the many wonderful partners that we have in this room just this morning, because we know that collective voices just make for larger impact. So it's important that we continue to collaborate and live out that better together mindset. You told us that you needed some talent attraction, workforce, and retention advocacy work. And so we, as the Chamber, in partnership with Sheboygan County, really embraced this and have been moving this forward now for about 1.5 years or so. So just to kind of talk about some of the things that we're doing to help tackle that workforce development, attraction, and retention piece is we have successfully already located some new community members. I can talk, I swear. To Sheboygan County. I believe that we have one of our newest members to the community right here in the room today. I will not ask them to stand up because I don't want to embarrass anyone, but it's phenomenal when we can see that the things that we're doing, we're now starting to see that folks are actually utilizing them. And if we can remove barriers to access and get the employees that we need from across the state, from other states, moving into our community, that is exactly what our goal was. So we're starting to see that actually take place, which is really, really exciting. Expanding the talent pipeline. So Leah is our transition specialist, and she was not able to join us today because, well, she's out there expanding our pipeline, and she is at a Veterans Career Fair today out of state. So we are excited for her to bring back several hundred resumes when she returns. That is typically, kind of what this has looked like when she's been traveling. So we have really goaled Leah to traveling beyond the borders of Sheboygan County about 2 to 4 times per month, and making sure that we are constantly out there finding new folks, finding folks who are ready to make their mark in a new community, to transition their families to a new space or to start a new career. So we are super excited about what's been happening in that space. We know that community engagement is really important, and so when we think about when folks are moving to a new community and setting them up for success, sometimes just having people that they can connect with and build community with, it sounds so simple. But sometimes it's not as simple as it sounds. And so we've been providing quarterly newcomer welcome events, which just encourage folks who are newer to the community, have been here maybe 5 years or less, to come together, get to know each other, learn more about Sheboygan County, know that we're a resource if they needed something or had questions. but also to build relationships and friendships and grow roots in our community. So that has been largely successful thus far, and if you have not joined us for one of those newcomer events, you are welcome to do that as well, even if you're not a newcomer. We encourage folks who would like to welcome newcomers to also participate, so don't hesitate to come and join us for a little party. Campaign evolution. So as I shared, the needs of 2021 when we really launched this looked vastly different than what employers are telling us our needs are today. And so campaign evolution for this Make Your Mark campaign has been extremely vital to the success of the campaign. So in early December, we met with some local CEOs to really kind of break down the Make Your Mark campaign, celebrate successes that we've experienced, but also to take a look at things that maybe are not really working so well. And thankfully, through that feedback, we learned a lot, and we were able to transition a lot of the campaign in different directions based on the feedback we received. So the ability for us to be flexible and do an about face at any given moment becomes really, really important in this climate. It's super interesting. We've got some folks across the state that sometimes reach out and think that we need a bit of help here in Sheboygan County, which is fascinating because we're usually the ones that are leading the charge. So I just want you to all be aware, rest assured, we will continue to trailblaze in 2025, and we will continue to show the rest of the state and the rest of the country exactly who we are in Sheboygan County and how successful we have made our community. Next, for talent attraction, the Make Your Mark campaign, as we've already talked about, has been hugely successful already. Since that CEO roundtable, we've actually increased our opt-ins and have more than 1,000 people, so employees working for employers across the county that have opted in, that are participating in this program now. So we've got more than 1,000 people every day getting an update on new resumes that are being submitted. And so as we continue to grow that, we know that we're going to continue to grow our population. So we encourage you all, if you are not checking that database regularly, if you are not opted in, if you're not using that resource, it is free. It is available. You can all use it. If you have questions, you can reach out to us and we can support you in getting you set up. But from going from 100 and something, 6 months ago to over 1,000 opt-ins today is a pretty significant shift, and I would say, very successful. So thank you to all that have participated thus far, and please continue to do so. Next, we are going to be launching, and this is new for us, we've not done this before, March 14th, we are going to have our first career fair, community tours, and cocktails. So as we're thinking about, we need to get people into our community, and we know that once they get here, they fall in love with Sheboygan County. Who has just come here to visit and fallen in love with Sheboygan County and then ended up moving here? Oh, there's other hands up. Okay. I am not alone. Thank you. Appreciate you. And we are not alone. And there are a lot of folks. Brian's laughing at me. He's like, Deidre, you're the only one. There were other people, Brian. There were others. I'm not the only one. But truly, this is a unique and wonderful community. And sometimes it's really hard to sell that without people feeling that. And you can't have that feeling if you're not here. So our goal is to get those folks here. So we will be launching, and it's available now to register for employers, but we will be bringing out-of-town job seekers. They will have the opportunity to stay overnight here in Sheboygan County with us as well. We will do a job fair. We will make sure that on-site interviews are made available to those job seekers, as we expect several of them will be coming from out of the community or out of state. We will also do a community tour highlighting all of the wonderful, maybe not all, some of the wonderful things that we can highlight in a 2-hour period, including in partnership with our friends at the SCEDC, some of the new housing developments that are going up and are being made available. And then that evening, we will host a newcomer welcome event, and we will also include our employers who participated in the career fair, and also any of our job seekers who have come to visit with us as well. So we figured that this will really be a three-prong approach. We're going to connect them with employers. We're going to help them get jobs, hopefully on the spot. We are going to take them around the community so they can decide which community they want to live in Sheboygan County when they move here. And then we are going to wine them and dine them a little bit, but truly just help them build some relationships and begin to get even further excited about the promise of moving to Sheboygan County and starting their life here. So we hope that you all will join us, or as many of you as possible will join us if you can. We will have to limit the amount of employers that can register for obvious reasons space. So if that's something that you want to do, I would say get online and get yourself registered right away. And again, that is free to employers and that is free to job seekers. So continuing our impact. So we know that from the retention perspective, we need to be engaging people even after they move here. And so at the Chamber, we continue to mail those welcome letters to new residents, recognizing the value of a warm welcome as folks move into our area. Engaging young talent. So this past summer, we hosted 93 interns and co-ops, organizing activities to showcase Sheboygan County, foster relationships, just help them fall in love so that as they graduate from college, they will make Sheboygan County their choice to move to permanently and begin their careers. We also launched junior leadership last year, and this year is our second year. We actually had to turn 10 students away, which is very sad, but also very exciting because it means that we've got lots of high school juniors and seniors throughout the county that are wanting to engage in this way and wanting to participate in these types of leadership programs. So that's super exciting. Our impact, continues with our Explore Your Future event. We connected about 1,200 7th and 8th graders to local job opportunities and self-discovery workshops in 2024. STEAM Fest engaged about 1,600 4th and 5th graders. And I don't know if any of you participated in STEAM Fest, but let me tell you what. It is a really fun day. And if you need to get out of your workplace and do something a little bit different, hanging out with 4th and 5th graders that are missing teeth and they're all excited and they got those big smiles and they're running from table to table, and yes, they're loud and they're crazy and they're wild. But the joy in their faces, it tells us everything that we need to know about why it's important and why it's important to introduce kids to STEM-related fields, because they may not, you don't know what you don't know. And you may not know really what's available if it's never been introduced to you. And so we believe that it's super important that we continue to make those opportunities available. I will tell you, and this was just a lovely compliment that we received, but Millipore Sigma has participated in STEAM Fest with us. This was our third year of being the host, if you will. So Millipore Sigma's Curiosity Cube participates and joins us for this adventure. And this year they shared with us that they travel across the United States and they do STEM-related activities all over the country. And the STEAM Fest that we are hosting here in Sheboygan County is the largest they've encountered. So if that doesn't tell you, that we're trailblazers, I'm not sure what will. But you've also shared with us that professional development is really, really important to you. And so the Chamber of Commerce made a decision and a significant investment in professional development programming for the upcoming year. We added a new role in late 2024, Director of Programs and Training, and now we have the resources to be able to offer several opportunities. As we continue to get feedback from you guys, and you continue to share with us your needs, we will continue to, make adjustments and be flexible as we can. So if you are looking for professional development and leadership development opportunities for your staff, we now can make these things available right here in our market. If you want it to be, with others from across the community, we can make it happen that way. If you prefer your team just, by itself and on-site at your place of business, we can make that happen as well. So lots and lots of professional development resources will be made available as per the request of our employers on an annual basis. And these are just a couple more of some of the additional opportunities. And you will see these are also in your book, and there's a handout at your table. So feel free to take all of those with you. And a lot of these programs, so above and beyond what you see here, is we're looking to also launch a Young Professional Board Leadership Acumen series and Small Business Boot Camp series. So again, we can make these things available in our community where we can support nonprofits, where we can continue to support small businesses. We can, potentially even offer scholarship opportunities where other employers or organizations in the community might be able to support and lift up nonprofits and small businesses in a different way to help set them up for success. You also shared with us that collaboration was really important. So building deeper relationships, locally within our county, but also getting involved with folks from across the state, because we've got, a lot of different things happening here, and we maybe haven't put as much time and attention as we should have in some areas. So I'm happy to report that we have really built a phenomenal relationship with the Hmong Chamber of Commerce. We have hosted joint events. We have one coming up actually just next Thursday if anyone is interested. And we have done some canvassing together across the community as well, which is a ton of fun. We have embraced a unique opportunity with Discover Wisconsin this year, which will be highlighting the quality of life in Sheboygan County. So you can look for that somewhere probably early second quarter. There will be a Discover Wisconsin episode about Sheboygan County. Growing partnership with the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce and the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Southeast Wisconsin. So we now have some additional offerings through these partnerships. And then also, too, we're hosting joint events, we're canvassing together, we're just really, going arm in arm saying, hey, we're here to support, we want to, make sure that you can be successful as an organization in our community, and what do you really need from us? And then I also continue to serve on the board of the WCCE, or Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce executives for the state of Wisconsin. Sheboygan County continues to lead in this space as well. So financial literacy, over the past few years, we heard a lot about financial literacy and the need for additional resources. So our Business Education Partnership Committee partnered with, a number of different folks throughout the community, as well as the school districts, to make sure that we could put some financial literacy programming into our high schools in a different way. We also continue to support the Reality Days, which date back to 2006. So, we were talking about this in 2006, and I think there's some communities that are just now talking about financial literacy. So, the good news is that we're ahead of the curve there. I do want to recognize, and I don't think that Todd is here with us today, but one of our very own, Todd Williams, participates in our Business Education Partnership Committee, but also is a business education teacher at Plymouth High School and president of Wisconsin Educators of Business and Information Technology. He was actually recently recognized by Governor Evers for his contributions to financial literacy. He was the one who started the first Reality Day back in 2006 at Sheboygan South High School. So if you know Todd, or if you don't know Todd, we can give you his email, but we should all just flood his email box, and we should all just tell him congratulations, because that's a significant accomplishment. Also, in 2023, our partner Jenny Stein of Junior Achievement brought to members of our Chamber's BEP committee the idea of hosting a half-day workshop where high school students focused on investment trading. So this stock market challenge is different than the business challenge that you may be familiar with. And through that, Sheboygan held the first ever event in the state of Wisconsin and one of the initial events in the United States as far as a stock market challenge is concerned. So again, if you know Jenny Stein or if you don't know her, we can give you her email address and we can totally flood her email box for the phenomenal contributions she's brought to our community. And then our chamber is actively engaged with community partners in creating work-based learning opportunities. And so we're proud to have Cedar Grove, Belgium as one of our members and partners. And then also, if you're not familiar with what is happening at the Rocket Academy in Cedar Grove, Belgium School District, I just want to put it on your radar that you should probably check it out because it is some pretty awesome stuff. Okay, so again, collaboration, we are better together. Our membership continues to grow as we really begin to recognize the power we hold when we have one collective voice. And that doesn't just mean collaborating with other community partners. It also means as our membership as an organization continues to grow, and we're approaching about 800 members currently, that our voice gets stronger and our voice gets louder and our voice gets larger. And so, if you love what the chamber is doing and you're actively engaged in the chamber and you have friends that aren't, I would certainly encourage you to tell your friends that they're missing out on a lot of opportunities because we are doing some phenomenal things here, and the more of them that come along, the greater impact we can have as an organization. And with that, I will just say thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for your support. I would like to invite Mayor Randy Meyer to the podium where he is going to share with us some information about Sheboygan Falls.
Thank you for the opportunity. First, I want to thank Ellie and the entire County Chamber team. I made a request to get moved up because I have another meeting I have to duck out of right after I get done talking. So if you're expecting a long talk from me, you're probably not going to get it today, but come to Sheboygan Falls and I can talk to you for a long time. Exciting things happening in Sheboygan Falls. Vision Park is nearing full now. It's our business park out on C and TT. We had 3 companies build last year, Sign Me Up, Pros for Technologies, and Spect Electric. We have 2 that'll start building next year in Alfieri Laboratories and SSL Industries. So we're very excited about that. So we are in the process of trying to find the next place that we're going to expand for business park development. That's exciting for me because when I was elected 21 years ago to Mayor of Sheboygan Falls, we really didn't have anything going on as far as business park development, and Vision Park was really something I started as an alderman and brought to fruition as mayor. So it's really been gratifying to see that that get successfully built. Housing, the EDC has housing developments going on in Sheboygan Falls. 54 homes will be completed by spring of next year. So that's a 2-year window that they completed 54, and they've started on the next 41. So again, hats off to them and the whole housing committee, and hats off to my city team for doing what was necessary to make all that possible. Any development, there's bumps in the road, but it's really been a great process to work with them and to bring 95 homes into Sheboygan Falls. Really makes me happy. And then we have another subdivision going on PP, Falls Meadows, that really ran into some more major bumps in the road. The city had to kind of step in with the DNR and say, things just aren't progressing here, gentlemen and ladies. We got to get this going. We think we have it on a path to being successful, and I would expect to see some home building start in spring of next year. It was supposed to start in spring of this year. But again, if development was easy, it would happen everywhere constantly, and mayors wouldn't have to do anything. So it's not easy, and hats off to those who put their time and money and talent on the line to develop, because it is, you're always taking a risk every time. Not every development in Sheboygan Falls works out, but not every development works out. And then very excited to have Deerfield Estates start next year with Werner Homes. I've always enjoyed working with Bob and Ross at Werner Homes. Really have a long history of doing different subdivisions in Sheboygan Falls. So that was when I'm very confident that there'll be a few small bumps, but there'll be small bumps. A very professional organization to work with, and they're going to break ground on phase 1 of their subdivision. Will be 41 homes. At the end of the day, it'll be another 80 homes. So that's a lot of really good, solid home building, single family home building activity going on in Sheboygan Falls. I would say, as far as interest in new development, businesses, and things like that, it's solid, but it's slower than it was this time last year. From calls we get at City Hall, inquiries, things like that. But it hasn't. It's not falling off a cliff. But it's been slower in the last year than it was the previous year. Big challenges to development, really, the infrastructure costs, the rise in building costs, and then really when it comes to creating new housing. I was just talking to the other 2 mayors beforehand, and Don Pullman and I have a long history of talking tax increment districts and things like that. And we really believe the state needs to really relook at. You can have 35% of a tax increment district can be in housing, and we really believe they need to lift that. Don was just telling me. Well, I'll let Don tell his story. Never mind. And I'm fortunate enough to be the vice president of the Wisconsin League of Municipalities, which means this October, I will become president of the league. So I'll be part of a panel that'll be presenting to the legislature coming up in 2 weeks, and really going to talk to them about the challenges when it comes to development, and why when you have to stick $1 million to $2 million in roads and infrastructure before you can dig one basement and sell one lot, why it's challenging, and maybe how they can help. And part of that help really at the local level is tax increment districts are really what we use to springboard new development. And I know sometimes some people think like tax increments, like we're taking money out of taxpayers' mouths to create tax increment districts. But I think what everyone wants to conveniently ignore when you talk about tax increments is there's something called the but-for test. And sometimes I have people in Sheboygan Falls that they act like all the development of Vision Park and the EDC development, that would all happen whether there's a tax increment district or not. I can assure you that's incorrect. None of it would happen without tax increment district financing.
It's true.
So it's just such a fundamental thing. That's why I always tell my administrator when people want to argue with him about how much the tax increment districts are costing the city, I'm like, you're getting sucked into a false argument because they want to act like everything would happen even though the tax increment district, whether it was there or not. And that's just not the case. I once had an opponent who said, I like all the roads going to Vision Park, but I wish that was closing early. You can't have both. It's not possible. So again, I'm very optimistic. Our historic downtown is doing very well. I think when I was here last year, we had a few open spots. I'm glad to report we have no open spots now. Nice new businesses stepped in. One of my favorites, I'm a big reader, is called Sip and Story. And the only downside is they don't sell ice cream during the winter, but they do sell it when it gets nicer out. So I'm looking for the nicer weather. But I'm even getting pulled into some book exchanges there, and I'm finding more women come to book exchanges than men. Okay, I was the only man. That's okay. I'm confident. I can handle it. Surprises also joined in our downtown, and then a neat place called Glow It Up Fun Zone, where they sell all those claw machines that take your money and give you little prizes. So, but I really encourage you, visit our historic downtown. You won't be disappointed, and of course, you'll spend hours at Evans. Really nothing else like it in the county. But very optimistic of where we're going. Challenges, we did do a reassessment after 14 years in Sheboygan Falls, and no surprise, residential went up faster than commercial, so there has been a shift of where people's taxes are, or where the tax amount is coming in the city to residential. And my council did do a tax increase against my advice, but councils don't always listen. Sometimes they do, most of the time, but sometimes not. They did a small tax increase into that, which also added to that. But that really is a challenge when you see, in some cases, some people's taxes went up significantly in Sheboygan Falls. But the quiet people are the ones that their taxes went down, and that's the balance in a reassessment. But it certainly is a challenge, and it's worth commenting on, because obviously, without property taxes and other income streams, cities wouldn't be doing anything. So I think it's just important to point out. Very confident where Sheboygan Falls is heading. I have a great city team and really appreciate this opportunity. If you have any questions about Sheboygan Falls, don't hesitate to call. People are surprised. They call me like, oh, you answer your own phone? I do. And I'm always happy to talk, always happy to have that rapport. So if you're interested in expanding in Sheboygan Falls, contact me. But really, really happy to be part of Sheboygan Falls, part of Sheboygan County. There's really a good thing going on in this county. We're doing better than almost every other county in the state, in my opinion. And I get to see and talk to other municipalities at the league meetings. And we have our problems, but other places have bigger problems. So thank you for your attention today. I really appreciate it. And I really apologize I have to duck out. I normally don't get double booked like this, but it happened today. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I know you guys are all probably getting a little antsy and looking forward to having a break to stretch your legs and maybe use the restroom, so I will try to be as brief as possible, keep us moving along this morning. So as Deidre mentioned, I'm the County Administrator for Sheboygan County. I recognize a lot of faces in the room, but for those of you who don't know me, I've been in this position going into my 3rd year and working at the county for a total of 12 years now. So happy to be here this morning and share some of the highlights from Sheboygan County from the past year. A little bit about the county. I know in the booklet it says we have 875 employees. That was our 2024 number. For 2025, we have about 915 employees now. So we are growing, and that is a result of the expectation of services from our community. So we have 19 different departments where those employees are all working, and our budget for 2025 is over $204 million. So a lot going on at the county, and I am pleased to share some of the major accomplishments and milestones from the previous year. If you've heard me give this presentation in the past, there was usually a lot of highlights of infrastructure and projects and things being built. You'll notice this year the theme is more along of efficiencies, process improvement, focusing on technology, and that's a result of us at the county being expected to do more with less. So we have to be better stewards of the few resources that we have so we can continue to deliver the services that our community expects, especially when there's increased demand for service, increased state mandates, and the money to do those is not increasing. So these are in no particular order, but first is our comprehensive community service and our children with long-term support programs. These are our two most intense wraparound services for individuals with significant behavioral health needs, both youth and adults. As you can see from the chart on the screen, the demand for services has been increasing exponentially over the last 5 years. From 2019 to 2024, the number of clients rose 143%, and our wait list is also growing. To combat this, we've added over 60 employees to address this, and it still isn't enough to keep up. So I know there's a lot of talk about mental health and the need for resources, and this is a testament to that. So we continue to expand to try and meet the need, but it's definitely a growing demand in the community. Fixed-base operator services at the airport. Lake Breeze Aviation opened in February. In 2024, our airport experienced over 27,000 aircraft operations. So if you think about that for a minute, 27,000 aircraft operations at the Sheboygan County Airport. If you calculate that out to how many it is per month and per day, it's pretty staggering. I don't think people realize how busy our airport is. So in February, we started offering fixed-base operator services, and that is going extremely well. In the first 11 months of business, they sold nearly 800,000 gallons of fuel. So a lot of people flying into our airport, both for business and also general aviation. In addition, we had some really great events this year, including the Wings and Wheels event, as well as the T-28 Vintage Warbirds. So a lot of exciting things going on at the airport, and we are meeting and achieving our goals of increasing the customer service and providing competitive pricing, as well as eliminating our property tax reliance for all airport services. And so you can see here a few pictures from our staff fueling up some of those Warbirds, and then also de-icing, which I imagine they were also doing this morning for flights taking off this morning. So our staff are out there, rain or shine or snow, whatever it is, they're here to serve those flying into the county. Next is prioritizing cybersecurity. I know this isn't the most thrilling topic, but it's very important, especially our friends at the city know the importance of cybersecurity. If we have a breach and our operations come to a standstill, it affects everyone in the county. So this past year, we partnered with KnowBe4, an industry expert, to do cybersecurity training for all of our employees, including phishing testing. And we are proud to report that after 4 months of those tests, we had a 90% reduction in vulnerability with our employees. So that's been extremely successful and a cost-effective way to make sure that our employees are mindful of the current cybersecurity threats out there. As you know, you can have the best security system in your house, you can have all the alarms and bells and whistles, but if you open the door or have a window cracked and let someone in, they can do unimaginable damage. Same goes with our employees. We can have all of the firewalls and the best cybersecurity technology in place, but if an employee clicks on a bad link and the bad guy gets in, they're in. So we were really prioritizing education for our employees to prevent that. Highway shed additions. We completed a 5,000 square foot addition on our north side highway shed, which is located on Highway 42. This shed was originally built in 1994, and back then the equipment was much smaller. At that time, trucks were about 32 feet long. Now when we have a fully mounted truck, it's over 46 feet long. So the equipment just didn't fit in the shed anymore. So we had to put an expansion on, along with a couple other improvements to that site. And you can see here a picture of our staff in the middle doing some of the work to try and keep costs low and utilize their skills and expertise in that project. In addition, we will be undergoing a similar project at our south side shed, which is located just off of I-43 on Highway OK. That shed was built in the 70s and so is experiencing the same issues, that we are running out of space for our equipment. So we want to make sure that we're maintaining our equipment and providing the space for that. So the south side shed will be undergoing a similar project here in 2025. Speaking of the highway department, in 2024, they completed nearly 50 miles of road work, which is pretty impressive. Everything from complete reconstructions, which you can see pictured on the left, to pulverizing and repaving and seal coating, which is what's pictured on the right. So they're out there daily working to maintain our infrastructure, whether it's doing road work in the summer or plowing in the winter, which I know they were out last night and this morning, making sure that we have safe and reliable transportation for us to get to work and home. And all of this is possible because of the half-cent sales tax that we have, which is dedicated towards our infrastructure. Our public health led a collaborative effort with some of the people in this room. I know United Way and our local health systems were a major part of this, to develop our community health assessment, and then following up on that was the community health improvement plan. So the assessment process included 38 interviews with community leaders, 3 community listening sessions, 400 phone surveys, and 1,200 online survey responses. And that assessment helped drive the formal report and establish 5 areas of priority, which you can see here on the screen. And for those of you who might not be able to see the screen, those 5 priority areas include positive mental health, responsible substance use, activity and nutrition, access to affordable housing, and access to affordable, high-quality child care. Within those 5 priority areas, they then established the strategies on how they were going to tackle those areas. And as I mentioned, that was a collaborative effort by a lot of community leaders and set us up for the next 4 years on actionable items to address these areas and make our community healthier in the future. Upgrade to our 911 system. Our dispatch center switched over to a new phone service called Next Gen 911. This is occurring across the state. The county had invested in our 911 infrastructure early, and so we are one of the first counties that was able to transition to this. Other counties are going to be going through this in the next couple of years, but we had the infrastructure in place to be early adopters of this. It's a faster, more stable, and more resilient platform, which was evidenced by the outages this week. That's a joke for those of you who noticed. Our dispatch was down this week by no fault of our own. That was due to AT&T and a fiber cut outside of the county, but it affected our system. But all joking aside, this system is not only better for our officers, but better for the community. It has advanced location technologies, so when a caller calls 911, not only can we place them in a building, but on the floor in the room that they're calling from. So it allows for a more effective response time for those who are first on scene and improves our chances of successful interventions in those critical situations. In addition, we had previously already had text to 911 capabilities, so you can text in if you're not able to make a phone call. And this new platform also allows callers to share videos or photos of their situation. Again, all in an effort to have a more effective response from our emergency responders so they can see what's going on before they get there. Our county facilities. The courthouse is the most obvious example of that in the past year. We completed phase 1 of the exterior renovation of the courthouse, which included power washing and tuck pointing and replacing some of the damaged limestone sections. In 2025, we will be replacing all of the windows. The windows in that building are original from 1933, so they're very old and very drafty, and the employees in the building are looking forward to having new windows that are more airtight. The windows actually got delivered this week, and they are starting at the very top on the 6th floor. For those of you who don't know, the 6th floor of the courthouse, way up there in the peak, that is the former jail. So 90 years ago, if you got arrested, you went to jail up there. So they, right now that's currently not used for inmates, although we have talked about it. And so it's currently just storage. And so they're starting on the 6th floor. And yesterday I was coming back from a meeting and I saw a person up there hanging out of the window that they started replacing windows yesterday in that bitter cold. And there was a man they had taken the window out and he was strapped in doing something up there. And they said, there's not enough money in the world to pay me to hang out of the 6th floor of a window in below zero weather. So that is beginning. And so you will see throughout the year a lot of scaffolding and all the windows being replaced throughout 2025. Following that, then we will also be doing some work on the various levels of roofing on the building to make sure that the building is weather tight. Additionally, we are investing in our infrastructure at the detention center where we do actually house our inmates currently. We are replacing original cooling equipment from 1998, and we are also replacing and adding new security cameras to that facility to ensure the safety of not only our corrections officers, but then also those that we have in custody. CrowdStrike. This image might look familiar to you this past summer, the CrowdStrike incident. This affected businesses across the globe. For those of you who may remember seeing headlines in the news about the airports being shut down, banking being shut down, it was a huge technology halt, I guess I'll say, across the globe. And Sheboygan County was not immune to that. So we also use CrowdStrike, and we also got those blue screens of death, as they refer to them, most notably at our dispatch center and at Rocky Knoll, our long-term care facility. So what's important about this is not, we weren't alone in it, but the highlight is our response to this. Businesses across the globe were shut down. They closed their doors. They were not able to operate, sometimes for days into the following week. Our IT department, who is second to none, worked out throughout the evening and had our critical operations back up and running within a couple hours, and all of our operations countywide up and running that afternoon. So we did not have to close our doors. Yeah, thank you. Yes, continue to operate without interruption, which companies much larger than ours aren't able to say. So they, one by one, resolve the issue on all of our individual computers and the other technology that we rely on. And then by that afternoon, they were then assisting other municipalities who were experiencing the same thing and didn't have the technical support. So really proud of our team, not only for their response working through the night, prioritizing our operations, but then also lending a hand to other municipalities who didn't have the same resources available to tackle that. Electronic health record system. The Health and Human Services Department rolled out a new software program, again, to enhance service delivery and streamline our operations, not only for our staff, our case managers, but also the thousands of clients that we serve. Health and Human Services provides a lot of different services through the community. This is primarily for behavioral health patients, but everyone at Health and Human Services utilizes this, which is thousands upon thousands of residents who come to us for service. So this centralizes our client data and allows for better case management tracking so that we can continue to provide high quality support to all of those individuals who rely on us on a daily basis. This is a huge undertaking for any of you who have gone through software implementation. You know that it usually takes years. computers. It's usually not that person's forte, and it requires the help of outside consultants to get it done. So this was a pretty big undertaking for the county. We also continue with our strong fiscal track record. On the left is a chart showing our tax rate. As you can see, the tax rate went down for 2025 to $3.58, which is a decrease of just about 8%, and it's the 9th consecutive year that our tax rate has gone down. In addition, the tax levy increased by 0.2%. As I mentioned at the beginning, our total budget is about $204 million. Our tax levy went up about $9,000. So if you can put that into perspective, our budget for the year went up $9,000 on a $200 million budget. So as I said earlier, we're expected to do more with less. We don't have the ability to sell more widgets and to increase our revenues. So when our budget only goes up by $9,000 from our taxes, we have to get creative, we have to be more efficient, and we have to focus on providing services and utilizing those resources to the best of our ability. In addition, we received a clean audit report for 2023. We are projecting a surplus from 2024, and we continue to have healthy reserves. So we are doing our very best to be good stewards of those dollars. And last but not least, countywide election equipment. And I want to give a shout out to John Dolson, our county clerk, is here with us this morning. This past year, we purchased election equipment from Clear Ballot, who is our vendor for election tabulators, and it was important for us to purchase the equipment for all 28 of our municipalities, and that was for a number of reasons. One, we wanted to make sure that we had identical equipment throughout the county so that we could have operational improvements through consistent training for poll workers and make sure that the equipment is more friendly, user-friendly, secure, and up to date with ADA compliance. So the county purchased all of that equipment on behalf of the municipalities and then essentially gave it to them and said, okay, it's here, it's yours, you have to maintain it. But we wanted to make sure that we had the best equipment in our county so that we can continue to have transparent, secure, and efficient elections, especially this past November when we saw record turnout for elections. And so that concludes my remarks. I tried to go as quickly as possible. I want to thank everyone for coming today and hope you enjoyed hearing a few things about what's going on at the county and celebrating some of these achievements that we're proud to say with the help of all of our local partners, both other units of government, businesses, and nonprofits. So thank you, everyone.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's so good to see so many community partners here. I want to thank all the chamber staff for putting this event together. I know today doesn't necessarily feel like we're in the Malibu of the Midwest with the snow, but it's so good to see everybody come out today. So before we get started, we got some Team Sheboygan folks in the house today. It truly takes a village to get a lot of things done in our community. So I want to give a shout out to Marie and Veronica, who are here today, who give a wave, you two. They work on the 3rd floor in City Hall, really run the ship at City Hall, make sure that we're getting a lot of things done. We have our Redevelopment Authority Chair in the house today as well, Roberta Flicky-Pineski. The Redevelopment Authority is a key asset in the city of Sheboygan to ensure that we can get old properties developed in the city, make sure that we're expanding our tax base. And obviously want to give a shout out to the men behind the camera here from WSCS, our local community station. We got Ron and Scott back there making sure we can broadcast this wonderful event to folks all across the Sheboygan area. So, as I always like to say, the city of Sheboygan has been cooking with gas. We got a lot of things on the grill here today. So this is just a few of the things that have been going on in the city of Sheboygan. So this past year we had 4 new TIDs that came online. As Meyer said, TIDs are key tools that local governments can use to help foster development in our community as well. So in the heart of any city is its downtown. In downtown Sheboygan, we've had some new businesses pop up, and we have some new opportunities on the way as well. So we're proud to announce that State Cycling, which was a new spin class studio, has quickly become a key spot right in the heart of downtown to offer healthy lifestyles for our residents and community members to try spin class as well. Additionally, if folks have not heard, the Stephanie H. Weil Center is expanding their venue to provide more arts and cultural entertainment right in the downtown of Sheboygan to further enhance our spot on the map in Wisconsin to be an art and entertainment destination for all. Additionally, downtown, we have a new headquarters for Keller Williams, which opened their new downtown office space to further strengthening our expanding real estate market and providing valuable services to residents and businesses. Also, here's a fun fact. Folks know I love to throw out facts. Sheboygan has the second largest butter producer in the state of Wisconsin. And that is being done at Old World Creamery when you drive in off of 23 Kohler Memorial Drive or Erie Avenue, whichever one you want to call it. This business continues to expand thanks to the great partnership from the city and the redevelopment authority with their business expansion loans as well. So they got some great expansions underway, and they have much more on the path. So their next venture is making sure that we're the largest cream cheese producer in the state of Wisconsin. So we're, obviously being the dairy state, we're proud to plant our flag and get that done right here in our community. In addition, obviously we hear a lot of folks want more retail options throughout the community, and this past year Burlington Coat Factory opened up in the old Memorial Mall site as well, making Sheboygan another retail destination for Sheboygan County. This is a great addition in our city, offering many different choices for clothing and coats as well. Obviously, housing has been a hot topic over the last few years and continues to be, and is evident in the survey results as well. The city of Sheboygan recently updated our Sheboygan housing market study, and we have to build, in just the city alone, 5,200 new housing units in the next 5 years to meet the current demand. That's 5,200 in the city of Sheboygan alone. And a lot of this number has been calculated with outreach from business owners, entrepreneurs, and residents alike. Businesses want to continue to grow and expand right here in this community. And when you have businesses that want to expand, you need places for their employees to live. So we are keeping our foot on the gas as well, and we are getting creative. Obviously, some of the projects that are underway and that we've announced, we have a strong partnership with Partners for Community Development, which is currently building 44 affordable housing units on 14th Street in 14th and Erie Avenue when you come on in the city of Sheboygan. So this is a veterans housing project as well as an accessible housing project underway. The old Juckham's Hall property, or for the Sheboyganites, the Litke's Meat Market property. Thank you. There's a laugh over here. Someone got the reference. Thank you. We just signed a development agreement to build 33 new townhomes on this property as well, continuing to diversify our housing stock in the city of Sheboygan. The old Mayline property off of Commerce Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. This, we signed a development agreement to build 283 apartments right on the banks of the Sheboygan River, diversifying our housing stock as well. So we need to continue to expand and diversify our housing stock. So you're going to see from the city of Sheboygan, obviously we purchased 175 acres on the far south side from the Gartman Farm to build about 1,500 homes as well. So that will be single-family homes, duplexes, and apartments as well. We're making sure we have all different housing types in the city of Sheboygan. Also, I'm glad that Dan Hines not here for. Oh, there he is for this part. We annexed in some new property from the town of Sheboygan to build a new Kia dealership with our friends at Van Horn Automotive. So we annexed some land, and they have a new dealership underway and continue to grow and attract new business right here, solidifying our automotive strength right here in Sheboygan County. Our community is committed to supporting diverse sectors across the market when it comes to our housing, like I said, our housing strategies as well as business expansion. Recently, on the south side as well, HTT Metal Stamping has seen an expansion as well, and the city has been a great partner working along with this local company to get creative in how we can get strategic with how we utilize our infrastructure and repurpose that so we can bring jobs back to the Sheboygan community and making sure that we're working with local companies as well. Also on the city's front, obviously, Uptown Social, our new senior center, has continued to grow and expand. We just got our membership numbers. We are more than triple. We have more than triple the membership in our senior center since the old senior center transitioned to the new one. So we completed phase 2. Some more options. If you know any friends or family, go on down. You can have liver and onions or polka or play bridge. There's a variety of community events that go on at the senior center. So we're excited for the partnership with the Housing and Urban Development from the federal government to get that phase done. So in closing, these are just some of the high-level spark notes of what's going on in the city. We want to ensure that we are working with each and every one of you, with your businesses, with your community partners. If you have an idea, please reach out to our office. We want to make sure that we're working with local partners to make sure that our community continues to grow and thrive. And it's very evident today with all our partnerships here. That's how we keep the energy and momentum going. So looking ahead, I'm confident that Sheboygan will be a place where businesses, families, and individuals can thrive. And I want to thank you all for your ongoing support, not only to the community, but to the Chamber of Commerce. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Good morning and Happy New Year. I'd like to thank the Chamber for the opportunity to speak to you about the town of Sheboygan today. Look forward to all the projects that we have coming up in the 2025. In April of 2014, our town, the towns in Wisconsin gained the authorization to have a TIF district authority. And there was criteria that had to be met. You had to have a population over 3,500, which we meet. Equalized value of property greater than 500 million. And now the town's equalized value is 1.3 billion. The TID is in the sewer and water service area and is served by the wastewater treatment plant. Without the ability for the town to create a TIF, which Mayor Meyer talked about a little bit, most of these projects would not become a reality. I'd probably say most of them would not have happened. The town of Sheboygan created a TIF district number 1 in June of 2020. And by doing so, the following projects were kicked off and completed in 2024. After several years and maybe decades of community anticipation, Olive Garden opened their doors in January 29th at Olive Garden Way and State Highway 42. Sorry, Mayor. Hilton's Home 2 Suites off of Dairyland is open for business. It has 93 rooms. Grand opening was September 12th, 2024. This hotel's located in the Northtown development, located on North 40th Street. It's one of the prettiest hotels that I've ever seen, so if you haven't had the opportunity to just at least go visit it, it's fantastic. Northtown Apartments was completed in November and is currently leasing 170 apartments. They are currently about half full at this point in time. First floor commercial tenants are Rise Fitness and Golf 365. Menards storage units that consist of approximately 300 units will be located near the current Menards store on Vanguard Drive. The town of Sheboygan, if you haven't noticed, has built a 750,000 gallon water tower. It's our third water tower. It's east of County Trunk Y and south of Playbird. It's anticipated to be done around the summer of 2025. The construction of Tower 3 has been anticipated for several years, and Tower 3 will provide an additional 500,000 gallons of storage for firefighting and 170,000 gallons for future growth for the town of Sheboygan. Dakota Supply Group is building 40,000 square foot buildings. They built a 40,000 square foot building located in our town of Sheboygan Business Park. That was formerly the Huddle and a Page building. And the town of Sheboygan built 14 new homes this past year. Construction costs were more than $85 million, and approximately 130 jobs were added to the workforce. The anticipated projects for 2025, Longhorn Steakhouse, we just signed the contract with them. It's north of Olive Garden, and It's anticipated that it'll start early 2025. Construction of a 10-unit townhome building and 14 single-family homes east of Enterprise Drive. It's all in the Northtown development. That's scheduled to start in March of this year. These properties are going to be all rental properties, kind of a unique concept where you can be able to rent a single-family home, a brand-new single-family home. 12,000 square foot single-floor office building is also going to be built in the Northtown development, and that's going to also start in spring. There's a senior housing project in Northtown that's scheduled to start this spring also. That's consisting of 3 floors, underground parking, 183 units, including 114 independent living, 48 assisted living, and 21 memory care. It's going to have a swimming pool, restaurant, gym. That's what they're anticipating. It's around a $51 million project. Van Wyck Auto will be breaking ground on a 17,000 square foot auto repair shop this spring adjacent to Northtown on Enterprise Drive. I understand all the material's been dropped off, so they're going to be breaking ground. There's 2 40,000 square foot and 1 20,000 square foot industrial commercial buildings along State Highway 42 south of Wigwam at Commerce Drive that's scheduled to start this spring also. We have significant infrastructure installations, including sanitary sewer and water main extensions on County Trunk Y and possibly Dairyland and Playbird. Additional new homes to be constructed in the Maywood Estates, the Lincoln Estates, the Complement Estates, and the Winmore subdivision. Sheboygan Senior Community Expansion, it's projected to start in September, as long as they can raise the money that they're needed. I think it's $2.6 million is what we're looking at.
Yes.
And 35 new assisted living apartments with additional amenities, including a performance and entertainment area. Total project budget of $13 million, but with the USDA loan, SSC needs to raise $4 million to be feasible. The project will enhance SSC's ability to provide high-quality, adaptable care for residents, including future flexibility for end-of-life care. And the addition of a performance and entertainment area will expand community engagement, offering a space for arts, events, and additional opportunities. If all these things come to fruition, we're talking about $120 million of expansion just for 2025, and another 300 jobs created. For 2025, we're looking at expanding our TID boundaries. We're looking for more to come in Northtown, and the ongoing discussions with potential residential developers, ongoing discussions with multifamily developers. All of these things wouldn't have happened without our staff. I have Tom Holton here. Tom's our engineer and our DPW director of DPW, and we have a strong staff, a small staff, but very strong. If you're interested in the town of Sheboygan, remember that we have low taxes, proximity to Highway 43, and the services that we provide. Closing, it's been noted on Facebook that the town of Sheboygan is going to be hosting Brat Days this year. That's not happening. We said no. So, just clarify, it's a no. So, anyways, thank you very much.
First off, thank you to County Chamber and Prevea for your support of this event and continued support in Sheboygan County. It's vital, as you've heard other speakers talk about development. We in Plymouth have been the cheese capital of the world. I get $1 every time I say that. For a long time. It is our lifeblood, to say the least, but the contributions that they participate in, many aren't known in the community, but they're everywhere. Without our TIF opportunities that the law, and Randy touched on it earlier, I'm sure that Brian will touch on it too. We don't have the leverage of the federal government to just keep dipping into that well. So we have to do things economically speaking. We have been tiffed out, meaning we couldn't do anything for the last 6 years. That didn't stop us from going out and shaking hands, knocking on doors, trying to partner with anybody who would listen to us and say, we're almost there. COVID came, price hikes came, inflation came. Actually, all of it was kind of nice for us because we didn't have to make excuses for not being able to do something. As of April of '24, we're no longer tiffed out. The result is overwhelming. We have several, we just created our TIF 7, which encompasses some 246 acres. Future development will be about $69 million. Vanguard development, which is west of Walmart, is 90 units. I'll let Brian talk about the SCDC. We're in negotiations with them on their housing project. We anticipate conclusion of that. That property is east of the Plymouth High School football field. That will be in the neighborhood of 90 units, individual homes, etc. So we're looking forward to that. The but-for clause in the state law certainly gives us an opportunity to do that. We have private investment for 47 units, senior housing, that'll also be out by the Baymont. The opportunity that we keep looking at for business growth, community growth, would not happen if it wasn't for you, our employers, and our education system. I would be remiss to not include Lakeshore College as part of that effort to continually bring workers and opportunity through their competency-based education into our neighborhood. It's very important that we support the workers at all levels as they continue to grow and expand. On the news today, it actually talked about the accreditation process for the new dental lab expansion at Lakeshore College. It takes time to do that. It takes planning to do that. And we have, fortunately, a lot of support from our business community in order to supply the workers that we need. I'm happy to say that in our last 3-4 years, City of Plymouth has paid off all of our short-term debt. We're now in a position to offer a $5 million bond, which will do some of the development infrastructure for the coming year 25. We anticipate another bond issue next year. We never stop looking for opportunities to partner with you, the community, other county services, and nonprofit groups. It isn't easy to sometimes convince people that we in Sheboygan County are the best place to be, but we point to our employers and education system to do that. Our TID 8, which will be probably coming midsummer, hopefully sooner, the 52 Stafford and Lock Building renovation, which will be a tremendous downtown asset for us, projected at $16 million. That is a addition that is badly needed on the west side of the county, servicing the racetrack and many other businesses in the community. Our opportunity to continue to grow is dependent on all of your participation and excitement about the county. We certainly appreciate all of what you do and what you contribute to it. It's not easy sometimes under today's difficult construction and limitations. I was glad to talk with Randy about going to the state and lifting our 35% residential housing opportunity that we can support. We have 5 different funds in the city for helping people improve, remodel, and build. Problem is, some of the qualifications are outdated. They need to be increased so that they reflect the current standards out there. We keep talking to our state legislators, and we have 2 new legislators representing us in the county, both of them education-minded, and I'm happy to say we know that they will support us in Madison for our education needs. Infrastructure is going up. We now pay 30% more for things than we did 4 years ago. How do you do that? Elaine, you talked about efficiencies. Efficiencies sooner or later catch up. You have to raise taxes. We as municipal suppliers have to make money to pay our bills. We don't talk about it in that way, but we got to pay our bills. We're trying to hold the line. We're trying to do a lot of cost-cutting, saving things. We're partnering, and that has long been the method of operation that we prefer. So continue to support your county, continue to support your chamber. Thank you very much. Keep the ball going. It's going to go. And Brian, I'll let you have some of your thunder, because we're going to close that deal. So, so thank you very much, and continue to talk about Sheboygan County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pullman. And our final speaker of today is Brian Doudna, Executive Director of one of our greatest partners, the Sheboygan County Economic Development Corporation. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Deidre. I want to say thanks to Deidre and the Chamber for the leadership here. Also, I also moved to Sheboygan County because this is about the only place in the state I would relocate from Madison to work in. So you have a truly unique market. I want to just recognize Barbara Koldos from New North as our regional economic development partner. At the state level, I'm just going to give you a quick outlook and then go through slides on each community. We work with WDC on trying to bring in state incentives to really leverage all the dollars at the state level. Just to give you a sense, and not to contradict what Deidre is talking about, but we have 4 major expansions that are in the queue at WDC for major manufacturing expansions. So growth is continuing to happen here, and just want to say thanks to all the companies that continue to make this market what it is. And I'm representing 5 communities, so I get 35 minutes.
Take it away. We're not stealing your thunder.
thunder, Brian.
So, very good. So Random Lake, I had a sense that Mike was going to be needing to cancel. So Random Lake, I do community office hours in pretty much every community once a month, just to keep up with and make sure that we can provide technical assistance. Random Lake, 2 years ago, we raised $1 million in Random Lake. Now that they've adopted a master plan, we will start implementing a community enhancement fund for bike paths, things of that nature, just, again, to create third places in that community, to make it more livable for the residents and making things happen. They just adopted a master plan. The reason why that was funded by the private sector. The municipality is kind of in having to pay bills, and their debt structure is not the best. So our foundation actually raised $130,000 to get a master plan in place for Random Lake. The key factor here is they have 130 acres along the second half of the lake that has now become available for development. So what you will be starting to see is Random Lake, that has been kind of the sleeping community in this market. Very definitely over the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see significant change and significant investment. The second area along where the Casey's would be is that type of development there. Cedar Grove, that community has a 150-acre business park along the interstate. The challenge for Cedar Grove is really the infrastructure. We have the ability to serve the property from gravity, so we don't have to do lift stations, things of that nature. But the frontage along the interstate is going to be a major investment, so we need a large project to happen along the interstate, but very definitely the visibility that you would have in Cedar Grove, that's going to be a huge opportunity for that village. Village of Elkhart Lake, they currently have a low to moderate income housing tax credit deal that is going up next behind the fire station. That is 60 units, so very definitely that's going to be affordable apartments in that market. And then you also have townhomes going in as part of the Van Horn, Northtown Partners development. So what the property we see here is actually behind, if you're familiar with Bart Wolf's area over there, his property is along the Highway 67. There's 40 acres behind there that was added to the TIF district before they were TIF'd out. So this is the last parcel in Elkhart Lake that's going to be able to be developed that is eligible for TIF funding while they still have capacity to spend. Village of Oostburg continues to grow with their continued growth in the marketplace. Industrial Park is pretty much full, so we are looking at how do we make sure that that TIF district that is very definitely performing thanks to Masters Gallery's investment and other investments, how do we make sure that the Village of Oostburg continues to be a vibrant location for business development? Village of Howards Grove. The challenge in Howards Grove is they don't have their own water system. So the school district is building a brand new middle school attached to the high school in that market. So the existing middle school is now already available for development. In the school referendum, they had $1 million allocated toward demolition and trying to figure out what to do with that. The SCDC is working with other partners and trying to figure out how to redevelop that so that that can be, school buildings are ideal for apartments. So we are working through that process. In addition, all that green space around that building, how can that be integrated into the neighborhood for effective development? Arts and innovation, startup economy. You probably remember before I got here, we were talking about innovation district, fresh tech, things of that nature. We haven't lost that. We've focused on housing for the last 3 years, but we're back into the Innovation Council is meeting and making sure that we develop financial tools. It's not a real estate play, it's making sure that we have the financial tools to support startup businesses from concept all the way to minimum viable products or first-time pilot manufacturing to get sales. So how do we get them from startup concept to sales? Once we get to sales, then we turn it over to the banking community. So what we are announcing this month, and we're working on the press release right now, but we will have dollars available to match 1-for-1. If an entrepreneur comes in, anybody that you know working in the garages and have a product, if they want to go to a scale, we will be able to match that up to $25,000. So we could get minimum viable product pilot manufacturing for $50,000, which is typically enough for most startups. And then, all right, I got a minute and 42 seconds left.
You can take longer.
Then our Live Work Housing Program. And we've called it the Forward Fund because of the generous contributions by the 4 companies here and also the county. Because of that, we are able to invest in speculative developments. And I would be remiss not to mention the state banks that are actually financing the construction of homes for us on spec. That is not typical. But because of the partnerships, we're able to make things happen. I would just note, all employers in this county are eligible to have their employees buy homes there. Someplacebetter.org/homes is where you can actually see the homes available for sale. We have 6 up for sale right now. And we'll have a lot more. The pendings have closed. You can see the homes that are available, the homes that have sold. And also, we have 15 homes started in phase 2 called Founders Point Neighborhood, which will be the first pocket neighborhood in the county. What I mean by pocket neighborhood, that outlot in the center is actually a park area. So instead of having your own front yards, you have a joint front yard, smaller lots to take care of, and hopefully attracting a different population than any other product development in the marketplace. Again, the mayor mentioned diversification, and that's what we're very focused on. Our success to date, 25 homes sold. So we haven't held a home for more than 45 days. Sorry about that. But I think the most impressive, 27 employers have people living in the households in that subdivision. I want to stress, those companies donated to make sure that all of us could get our employees to live in affordable homes. 8 of those homeowners have relocated to the county. 19 are first-time home buyers. That is what we're doing to make sure that we can have entry-level employees having the American dream. So I just want to say thanks to all the partners that have made that possible. Our income criteria is 140% of area median income, and we definitely have a net worth criteria of under $350,000. So it's not for everyone, but very definitely if you're starting out in the marketplace, relocating in the marketplace, this is something that you should be making sure your employees know about. We do not list through realtors. This is directly through someplacebetter.org. Okay? If you have questions, very definitely reach out to the SCDC. I'll give contact information as well. And the last thing that we will be closing in Plymouth is a 94-unit subdivision. And also, we have worked with Terrace Realty, which is actually Dewey Strobel, who has been the person against TIF districts at the state legislature. He actually is going to be building 36 senior condos on that parcel. So the benefit to the city of Plymouth is they're going to have 94 and 36, do calculations, that's 140 housing units, and none of it will be that will all go to the TIF district for public improvements. The EDC has received the largest funding from WEDA on their infrastructure of $3.4 million for the infrastructure to that at 1% loan for however long it takes for us to build out the subdivision. So again, we are starting to build relationships at the state level, and we definitely have the partnerships locally. I just want to say thank you for allowing us and all your businesses to do more.
Thank you so much, Brian. And thank you to all of our speakers today. Thank you all for coming out. It's a beautiful day in January in the state of Wisconsin. So as we've learned, we are optimistic. We are really rocking and rolling. Our businesses are thriving. And we are #1 out of 72 counties. Let's just be honest here. We want everybody to know what's happening in Sheboygan County and encourage them all to work, live, and play. So before you leave, a couple of things. Please feel free to take this postcard. This gives you more information about that March 14th career fair. So if you or somebody you know is looking for new talent, I would strongly encourage you to take that. And then the additional information about our professional development series is here, and you can take this back to your place of business as well. And last but not least, WSCS, thank you for being wonderful partners and being here with us today, making sure that we can make this information available to folks even outside of this space. And thank you again to Prevea for the continued support, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.